What happens when love turns into lies, money disputes, and even violence? Today's case will show you how quickly a relationship can go from sharing a home to fighting in front of a judge. Ms. Martin walked into court with a thick stack of papers in her hands. She wasn't here for a small complaint. She was here to fight. According to her, Mr. Battles owed her thousands of dollars from the time they lived together. She had receipts, photocopies of canceled checks, and even photographs of damage done to the house they shared. Your Honor, I paid for his personal items, I covered rent, and he left me with damages. The landlady walked through after he moved out and showed me everything he destroyed. Because of him, I lost my entire security deposit. And to make matters worse, Ms. Martin said when Mr. Battles left, he gave her a false address, no phone number, and empty promises that she'd get her money back. The judge turned to Mr. Battles. She says you owe her. Do you? With his arms crossed, Mr. Battles shook his head. Not a penny. I don't owe her a single thing. I have all the bills broken down right here. If anything, she lived in the house a whole month after I left. The security deposit was eaten up by the bills. She even left me with a $500 phone bill. The tension in the courtroom was sharp. Ms. Martin fired back instantly. That's a lie. He never showed me any bills. Not one. The judge, tired of the back and forth, made a decision. Take your files. Both of you. Step outside. Go over every bill. I'm not sorting through 30 documents in my courtroom. The audience laughed as the two exes were escorted out with their piles of paperwork. When they returned, something surprising happened. They had managed to agree, at least on the bills. But just when it seemed like things were settled, Ms. Martin wasn't done. Your Honor, I'm also suing for $1,500 in punitive damages. And I'll tell you why. Her voice shook as she described the last months of their relationship. I had to call the police multiple times. He got physically abusive. He once jumped through my car window, grabbed me by the throat, and ripped my keys out. Another time, he shoved me against the wall and punched me in the back. And each time the police came, they told me it was mutual combat or just domestic violence, and they couldn't do anything. The courtroom went silent. The judge leaned forward. The audience could feel the weight of her words. Now, it wasn't just about money. It was about safety. The gavel struck, and the case took a serious turn. The judge leaned forward. That doesn't sound like the police did their job very well. Ms. Martin nodded, her voice firm. That's exactly what they told me every single time, Your Honor. But Mr. Battles quickly cut in. Because it's not true. The judge studied him for a moment, almost like reading his character. You know, she said slowly, you develop a sense of people's personalities in this courtroom. He seems like the passive-aggressive type. And you, Ms. Martin, you are certainly not a shrinking violet. The tension thickened. The judge turned to Mr. Battles again. Do you remember the incident with the car window? Ms. Martin stiffened in her chair. She knew what was coming. Yes, she answered quickly. The judge gestured toward Scott. Tell me your version of what happened that day. Scott leaned forward, trying to explain. She was upset. She was going to leave with my phone. She said she wouldn't call anyone, but she grabbed the phone off the dash. I reached through the window to take it back. That's when she rolled the window up on me. The judge raised an eyebrow. On your hand? No, on my body around my waist. I leaned in, he admitted. The judge shook her head. That wasn't smart, was it? Scott tried to downplay it. The first thing I did was turn the ignition off so she couldn't roll it up any further. I struggled, scraped myself getting out, and that was it. She went inside and called the police. The courtroom was silent for a moment. The judge pressed further. After that incident, did the two of you continue to live together? Both admitted, yes, for a short time. Then came the harsher questions. Do you remember hitting her in the back? Do you remember throwing her against a wall? No, Scott said flatly. How many times were the police called? Scott answered, 3 times. She called twice, and my mother once. But Ms. Martin immediately corrected him. No, they came 4 times. I called them 3 times myself. The judge called forward another witness, Scott's own mother, Marion. She stepped up nervously. Do you live in the same building? The judge asked. No, Marion replied. So why did you call the police? Marion took a breath. She called me at 7 in the morning. She told me I had 1 hour to remove Scott's belongings or they'd be thrown in the rain. When my husband and I rushed over, she was already tossing his things outside, breaking them, smashing them like a maniac. Everything was ruined, and the police had to step in. The judge turned sharply to Ms. Martin. "Did you do that?" Ms. Martin's eyes burned with anger. "Yes. That was after I found out he had been cheating on me for 3 months while living under my roof." The room stirred. Gasps could be heard from the audience. The judge raised her gavel. "Enough. Let's deal with the issue of punitive damages." Her tone shifted, calm but final. When a relationship doesn't work out, you end it. You put a period and you move on. What I see here is two people who did some very nasty things to each other. But you don't live together anymore, correct? "No, Your Honor," Ms. Martin replied quietly. "And all other financial matters have been resolved?" Both nodded. The judge gave a small sigh. "Then this case is over. Goodbye and good luck." But before striking the gavel, she cracked a rare smile. "What's the name of that guy from Star Wars? Obi-Wan Kenobi? May Obi-Wan Kenobi be with you." The courtroom chuckled. The gavel came down with a bang. And just like that, it was finished. This case shows us something important. When love turns toxic, both sides can cross lines they can never erase. What began as bills and deposits ended in police calls, cheating, and broken trust. In the end, neither walked away with real justice, only with scars. Do you think the judge made the right call by dismissing the punitive damages? Let us know in the comments.